Our iPad was last seen in the hands of TSA officer Andy Ramirez. We filed this missing property report, but were told nothing had been found and that we were essentially just out of luck. But we had been able to track our iPad the night it disappeared, 30 miles away from the airport to the home of the TSA officer.
Brian Ross from ABC News.
2 weeks later, we showed up at Ramirez's house.
We're looking for a missing iPad.
Missing iPad?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the tracking device shows that it's located right here at this address.
Okay.
Is it here?
No, sir.
And again, Ramirez denied knowing anything about the missing iPad.
Did you take it?
No, sir.
You did not take it?
No, sir.
But after setting off an audible alarm on the missing iPad and asking him to search his house again, Ramirez produced it.
You found it. There it is.
Okay, turn the camera off.
With his TSA uniform shirt now off, Ramirez claimed that it was his wife who had taken it, not him.
I want you to explain how this iPad left at a TSA screening station ended up in your house.
My wife's, I'm so embarrassed.
Your wife?
My wife said she got the iPad and brought it home.
You know, that can't be true because the last time we saw it, it was in your hands. It wasn't in your wife's hands. We saw it in your hands.
Late yesterday, TSA told us that Ramirez is no longer employed.
She caught herself on camera setting the fire.
Del City fire officials releasing surveillance pictures shot with the alleged arsonist's own camera. It all started last week. Fire crews battling huge flames in the garage of this Del City home.
We knew it was a condemned house.
That's why investigators took a closer look at how it started, uncovering a feud between the burnt home's owner and the lady living next door.
Things just, things start adding up, being suspicious.
Police noticed cameras in one of the home's yards. 59-year-old Annie Durham giving investigators permission to look at her footage, where it turns out she had a starring role, allegedly throwing something on fire over her fence into the neighbor's open side door.
It's not a Molotov cocktail, but it was a stick that had a rag or a towel wrapped around it, had some lighter fluid poured on it.
But the story gets even more bizarre. News 4 talked to Durham that day, moments after the fire was put out.
All I know, I was in the house and I saw smoke, but I was like, okay, maybe everything's okay, they'll put it out or whatever.
We knew that there was a neighbor that did interview with you all, trying to place that person with who was seen on the surveillance footage, and by looking at both of them, it does appear that that is the same person.
I talked to neighbors. They say the burnt home had been a problem for years. Police and fire called out multiple times. Durham agreed when we spoke to her that day.
There's been drug addicts living there, running in and out. This is the only drug house I know there's ever been.
In addition, officials say fighting the fire could have been a disaster, finding a flooded basement with 8 feet of standing water.
It placed our firefighters at great harm. We could easily be talking about a firefighter fatality.
Durham arrested, facing second-degree arson charges.
Your fantasies can't ever be quenched, can they? You freaking freaks! When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
Welcome back into another deep dive within the mind. Listen, man, we're gonna go over the laws of karma. What is karma? Because, I want you to understand that this is not just like a religion thing. This is not like I want you to believe in what I believe in. This is literally a fact of the universe, right? It's a Buddhist concept of cause and effect. It's this basic principle that every thought, every action, and every intent has an influence over your future. Over here in the West, people have a more superstitious view of karma, where they think that karma is this magical force that punishes you for your misdeeds or rewards you for your fortune or whatever, right? But karma is more so a mathematical equation of the universe. It's like what you put into the world is what you get out of it. You see, karma is just what you do now will affect what will happen to you later. Is accountability for your existence. That you take accountability for your thoughts, your actions, and what you say, and how all of that will influence the play that you're in. And karma isn't just limited to physical action. Our emotions and attitudes create our karmic path, where the vasana is our attitude and it's the attachment to the physical world. Just to break it down so it doesn't sound woo-woo and out there, right? The vasana is the groove in your mind that creates the persona or the character that you play as. So it's like the neurological pathway that you constantly activate to be who you are. We have positive and negative thoughts, okay? And it's easier to be negative. It's easier to go, because being negative is the first thing you see. It's the first thing you see is negativity. Like, it's the first thing to go with. Like, it's easier to talk shit about the moment. It's easier to talk shit about people. It's easier to talk shit about someone than to understand what they're going through and, you know, the complexities of humans and people and life. Nah, it's just easier to just talk shit. But when you do some thinking to find a positive in a negative situation, you become the light in the dark. You see, the difference between these two mentalities is that one is in the dark, ignorant of their cause, and complains of the effects. They're ignorant of their own cause and effect, right? And they complain of the whole cycle, repeating themselves constantly and constantly through and through. And the other one is directing their actions, conscious of what they're doing and intentional with how they interact with other people. I've seen a lot of people who are very ignorant, very, very ignorant. Like, they're like, we call them crash dummies, okay? Like, these people are ready to just lose their lives over the simplest things, the most benign things, the most sublime things, the most, like, I'm telling you, they're ready to just throw it all away just to argue, just to win an argument. See, what I've noticed with some ignorant people is that they invite the chaos, they invite the disharmony. It's almost like they take pleasure in their own self-destruction and they're willing to take you along with them. While truth seekers, they seek harmony. They're humble. They invite kindness and generosity into their lives for what they put out into the world, the content of character that they are for the world. One thing that these two mentalities have in common, though, is that they're both attracting the world that they're inhibiting with the thoughts that they're having. Both of them. One is just more aware of it than the other. Remember what I said about the soul and how it's the cameraman to life and how the cameraman never dies? Well, that cameraman records every thought, every decision, every intention of your life. And this recording is different than human memory, where you get selective memory or biased memory, where you don't remember certain things, or you just remember the good part of things and you don't remember the whole picture of how things truly played out. Well, your soul keeps an objective point of view of how things played out, well captured, how your intentions were going into the situation and how the situation fully played out as your intentions impacted it. A lot of people think that life has a fixture to it, where there's this stagnant or stagnation, or things don't change, or things will always be the same and how it is or how I perceive it to be. But life is a constant flow. It's a constant movement. It's like a river. And what I've noticed about the flow of life is that it's moving at the speed of your thoughts, where it's constantly being morphed and shaped by your choices. Understanding karma is a huge emphasis on personal accountability. So the number one thing that you can't do is take on someone else's karma. Everyone must face the consequences to their own actions. And if you take away that experience of facing the consequence for someone, then they feel as if they can do no wrong. Another book here for you guys. It's called The Kybalion. It's a nice little book. It's fancy. And it talks about a principle in here about the cause and effect of reality. I want to share a passage out of it. This principle embodies the fact that there is a cause for every effect, an effect from every cause. It explains that everything happens according to law, that nothing ever merely happens, that there is no such thing as chance, that while there are various planes of cause and effects, the higher dominating the lower planes, still nothing ever entirely escapes the law. The Hermeticists understand the art and methods of rising above the ordinary plane of cause and effect to a certain degree, And by mentally rising to a higher plane, they become causers instead of the effect. The masses of people are carried along, obedient to the environment, the wills and desires of others stronger than them, and other outward causes moving them about like pawns on the chessboard of life. Now, the way how one becomes a master in the cause and effect chain, right? Because it's a law. For every cause, there's an effect. For you to become a master within it, you would have to master it, right? Because most of the time people are just complaining about the effect. Poor me, why do I keep on getting this effect? I'm gonna keep on doing the same cause. It's just like hitting your head against the wall and wondering why your head is hurting, bro. Like, you know, come on, do something else.
And then I started seeing it everywhere I looked, all these pricks. Everywhere I looked, doing the exact same thing. Over and over and over and over and over again. Thinking, this time, he's going to be different. No, please. This time, he's going to be different.
Karma is a word to acknowledge that we have an effect on the play of life. That we're not just spectators. That we can't just sit on the outside and cast our vote and like as if this is like some Hunger Games and we're just looking in on other people's lives. And no, we're actively having an effect on life itself as we partake in our observation of it. And the way that I've come to know how to master this is by studying the process of life. The process within all the things that I wish to master. Thank you guys for watching for this long. I appreciate your eyeballs. Have a blessed day and take care of yourself, okay?